I really do love a good whodunit. I'm a winter fiend. I am a Christmas fan. If you would like to try out Scribd, because that's what I use for my audiobooks, there's always a link down below. Hello lovely bookworms, I'm Esmay from Paradise Pages on Instagram and also on Twitter, and welcome to a new video. Today is going to be the first video in December, at least the first sit down video I'm filming and the first one I think you're seeing, and I thought we could start with a good old-fashioned winter TBR. Let's just say that I have 10 books sitting next to me here that I think I want to read and in the mood for during the winter season. For those of you wondering, there's not going to be a Game of the Books in December. Everything is starting back up again in January. I think there has already been a vlog up before this. I think this is going to start around the 20th, so we're sort of counting down to Christmas. I think that's what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully I can film enough videos for that. And in general, I am just super excited for the December months. As you probably know, I'm a winter fiend. I am a Christmas fan. I am just happiest during the winter season and spring and autumn, as long as it's not summer. But I am such a Christmas fan, and I just love the little decorations behind me. My Christmas tree is up. Makes me very happy. So without further ado, let's just dive in. I do want to start and preface this by saying the following. I have weird taste when it comes to cozy, Christmassy, wintry books, because there's a couple, no, quite a few weird ones, and I am just gonna dive right into it. Let's start by saying that I'm currently very much in the mood to listen to a lot of audiobooks, so that's the first thing. And second up, I am really in the mood for murder mystery or thrillers or anything, but then sort of set in the snow mostly. So without further ado, let's just dive into it. Speaking of weird taste, the first book is one that I picked up at the airport and I just thought it sounded interesting. I think it is a murder mystery from what I've heard, and that is Deepwater by Emma Bamford. This is about, I think, a couple that goes to an island, yeah, an uninhabited, unspoiled island somewhere in the Indian Ocean. Only those who know it exists can find it, but paradise comes with a price. So it's a couple, I think, on their honeymoon, yep, and they're not alone. And this is a thriller murder mystery from what I've gathered. It just, lies can be buried, but secrets always surface. It sounded so cool. I actually have the audio for this as well, so I think I'll probably be listening to it. I love the smell of paperbacks. It's weird, I know. But it really intrigued me, and I think that the cover is also really cool. I like these kind of grungy, thrillery covers lately. So that is the first one. Next up is definitely a wintry book, and that is Explorers on Black Ice Bridge. This is the third one in the Polar Bear Explorers Club trilogy. I think the next one up is gonna be the Squid Ink, something along those lines. I do have that book, but this one is very wintry. It follows a couple of kids, I think, middle grade. So it's a middle grade, but they're kids. I think they're around the age of 12 from what I remember. I read the first two books quite a while ago, and I think this is just perfect for the winter season. I know that I could probably keep this for Polarthon, and I might do that because that's in February, but all in all, I'm just really excited for this. It just sounds very wintry, and I think middle grades are really cozy, so I love them for this time of the year. So yeah, there's that one. So the next book is another murder mystery. It's more of a detective, and that is The Word is Murder by Anthony Horowitz. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is about a woman who basically gets murdered 6 hours before or after she organizes her own funeral. So she plans her entire funeral and then she dies. And I think we follow a detective, two detectives. Yeah, a detective and a writing partner, and together they try and solve her murder. So I'm very interested to see. I know that this author also, it literally says it on here, also wrote The Magpie Murders, and I've heard a lot of great things about that one too. So I can't wait to just dive into a paperback for hours on end. with a hot cocoa and just chill, and you know, I'm just really excited about this one. Does it it probably shows. So yeah, that's that one. I really like detective movies and I really like detective books. It brings out the amateur sleuth in me, I suppose. I am not the best at figuring out who did it, but I really do love a good whodidit kind of book. I don't know, it's just something I adore. I can truly feel that I'm a little bit rusty at this. I'm being tongue-tied left and right. But the next book I have on here is not necessarily this book, but more the continuation of this series. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I'm trying to read my way through Agatha Christie's Poirot. And I think the next one on this list is Peril at End House. I'm not sure, but I do want to continue my reading of the Poirot series. At one point I'll probably also try and pick up Miss Marple, but for now I just like Poirot more, so I'm gonna read my way through Poirot first. In general, Poirot is just a book, or any type of Poirot book that I read is just never a disappointment. I really love the way Agatha Christie shapes her stories, the characters, the devil's in the details with Agatha Christie. I think she's amazing at shaping a book and truly focusing on the tiny things that makes murder, if that makes sense. I am aware that some of the books and some of the themes and some of the language that's used is problematic. It makes me feel problematic sometimes. Not problematic, I feel a little bit bothered, but I still think that these books are really well done, especially for the time period that they were written in, and I just really want to continue on with this series. So next up is another middle grade, and this is a continuation of a book that I really adored. I've gotten these beautiful copies of this one, and that is none other than The Mapmakers by Tamsin Merchant. This is very reflective because there's a plastic over it. I bought this at Goldsboro in England, and it's like the most beautiful edition that you've ever seen. I love it so much. I think, if I remember correctly, yeah, it is also signed. It literally says it's been signed on the 21st of February 2022. So that is really special. I cannot wait to read this. I really enjoyed The Hatmakers more than I thought I would, even though I did expect to like it. I cannot wait to dive into The Mapmakers. There's a lot of things in the first book that have opened up bridges for the next and maybe even the book after that. I think they are continuing on with this series, but I'm not completely sure. It is just absolutely stunning. I love a middle grade during this time of year because they're quick, they're easy, they're fun, and I cannot wait to dive into The Mapmakers during the winter season. Then next up, I have one of those books that, if it is done correctly, it will be an all-time favorite of mine, because I love secluded murder mysteries. Locked room murder mysteries are my favorite by far, and especially if they are somewhere cold, because I can be cold-hearted and I like cold stories. Also like desert, but you know, depends on the time of the year. But the one I have here is The Dark by Emma Hawson. This is about, I think, a group of friends. Yeah, it's a group of friends, group of 12 that go to they go to a resort, or they go to it's a chalet kind of thing. I think they're going, oh no, this one's actually about a woman who goes on a trip after personal tragedy. There she meets 11 different people, and then one of them ends up dead and one of them is a murderer. I love these kinds of things. They are, it literally says so, 24-hour darkness, so they are locked in darkness, no way to connect the outside world, just trying to survive. The suspense of locked room murder mysteries like this just hits me well. I just love it so much, so I cannot wait to dive into this one. I actually have the hardcover. I rarely get hardcovers of mystery books, but apparently for this one I did, because of how excited I was for it. So that is The Dark. Then I have another young adult, and this is A Storm of Sisters. This is the 4th book in the A Pinch of Magic series by Michelle Harrison. This is about the Witterson sisters, and I just loved the first 3. These are quick, they're easy to read, they're fun to read, and I feel like the writing style is just very descriptive. I think because I've listened to all others on audio, I probably will pick this one up on audio as well. But I just love the Witterson sisters. All 3 are just special. The way in which Michelle Harrison writes these stories and makes up these tales is just so mesmerizing, and I cannot wait to dive into this one. Speaking of audiobooks, by the way, if you would like to try out Scribd, because that's what I use for my audiobooks, there's always a link down below, and it is truly a win-win because you get to try it out for 60 days for free and I get a month for free as well, so it's a win-win situation. So I have 3 more books on the list, and the next one is the only contemporary romance I have on here. I am aware that I'll probably be reading a couple more contemporary romances, but contemporary romance really depends on my mood, whether I want to read it or not. And it's been on and off with contemporary romance. I had a period this year where I read quite a few of it, but then sort of it dialed down and I read a couple. And this is one that I have on here because I do really want to read it, and that is The American Roommate Experience by Elena Armas. This is a book from the same writer who also wrote The Spanish Love Deception, which, as you probably know, I really enjoyed. I have no clue what this is about. I saw Elena Armas, I saw sort of a similar kind of cover to The Spanish Love Deception. Is the Spanish Love Deception on the back? No, it's not. And I just had to get it, so I got it. And I hope that it is as entertaining as The Spanish Love Deception was. We shall see. I like the cover in any case, and yeah, that's that one. I have 2 more. So let's start out with my other murder mystery set in the snow, and that is The Sanatorium. This was supposed to be read in October because this was the Enchanted Book Club book for October. Didn't turn out so well, but I will put it on my TBR because I really want to read it during the winter season. I'm getting very yellow. I'm sorry about that. I'm okay. But this one is about a woman who goes to a wedding, I think. Yeah, it's to go to an engagement. Is this better? Definitely not better. We'll just stick to this. But she is going to her brother's engagement party, and then his soon-to-be wife, I think, goes missing. Absolutely amazing. It is basically an old sanatorium built into a hotel. It is secluded, it is cold, and it is everything that I would want in a book, if done correctly. So that's a sanatorium. I said that very different, very weirdly. Sanatorium, sanatorium, the sanatorium. And then the last book I have on here, it is a shame that I haven't read it yet, so I'm gonna force myself to read this. Hopefully 2022. I doubt that because we're already almost halfway through December, but definitely the first half of 2023. I'm doing that very broad thing again, and that is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. This is a book that I was gifted from Sasha, I think not my last birthday, but the birthday before that. Yeah. I've been meaning to read this for such a long time. I've heard amazing things. I literally have 3 beautiful Fairy Loot editions sitting up on my shelf over there. I have not read them. So I have to read this. I don't know that much about it other than the fact that we follow a girl who is in the wilds of Russia. I think I did start it at some point and read like a couple of pages, but I just really have to get into it, and I'm putting this on this list for that reason. Those were all of the books that I've put on my winter TBR. I'm not gonna force myself to read all of these unless I'm in the mood for them, apart from The Bear and the Nightingale. But other than that, I'm not going to force myself to read a book I don't want to read. I've really come back from that because I had quite a bit of a reading slump towards September, October. And now that I'm back in my reading mojo, I just don't want to lose again because I'm reading books I am not that much in the mood for. So that's what I'm gonna do. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Let me know one of the books that you would love to read during this winter season. Please subscribe to our channel and press that little bell icon so you get post notifications every single time that we post. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye!